Hello and welcome. Today we have a very special guest in our studio. She is Miss Nilkamal Darbari, an IAS who retired with the rank of Secretary to Government of India. She has played a pivotal role in shaping national policies, particularly in the area of chemical safety and agriculture. Welcome to the show, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So, you are here in our esteemed university, Berhampur University. First of all, we would like to know your perception about the university.
Oh, I'm delighted to be here. It is such a vibrant community of students and faculty. The ambience here is so conducive to learning. I can see that a lot of initiative has been taken up to improve the landscape and the ecosystem, physical environment of the university campus. And that always contributes to higher aspirations and motivations in the student community. So I'm really impressed.
We would like to know about your journey and your inclination towards agricultural development.
So, being in the IS, I have worked in the government of Rajasthan, which was my parent cadre, and I have worked in different field level postings as district collector for 4 to 5 years in Sirohi and Pali. Then I was in the secretariat at Jaipur in the departments of health and then family welfare and women and child and finance, also finance. Then subsequently in the area of agriculture and allied sectors. That was Rajasthan. Then in Government of India, I have been in the industrial side, in steel ministry, in the chemicals sector, and again agriculture and agribusiness sectors.
You have worked in diverse field, ma'am. What are the challenges do you see in implementing policies for sustainable agriculture, especially in the face of climate change?
Yeah, so that is actually one of the chief concerns at the moment because India's 50 to 60% population still depends on agriculture. And whatever water is available, about 80 to 85% of that water is used in agriculture and allied activities. With that kind of heavy load on primary agriculture businesses and use of water, it is imperative that water conservation be attempted. Water use efficiency is of utmost importance considering that rainfall is getting erratic, precipitation is lesser, and not very conducive at the time of agriculture, sowing or harvesting. So given all these things, the water use efficiency and micro irrigation systems are absolutely imperative, and they have actually been accorded one of the highest priorities in the government. To move away from flood irrigation to go for micro irrigation systems like sprinkler and drip, etc., and therefore use water more judiciously. So per drop, more crop. Yeah.
Educational institution, ma'am, which is about research, collaboration, and seminars, conference, and people sharing of information is also there. How educational institution play a role for addressing issues like climate change?
Yeah, that's absolutely a valid question. There is the young mind. Their perception about things will always come with a fresh light. They view things from a very critical prism. And I think if you encourage students to listen to informed debates, if you encourage them to participate, if you encourage them to express and debate, then I think new ideas are thrown up. Most new ideas are somewhere you can trace their genesis back to the student community. And I think it is very important to remember that students bring forth new ideas and they have the zeal and they have the courage to speak their minds. I mean, once you get into service and you start working, you have, many codes of conduct. But while you're a student, you have greater freedom. So you can express your thoughts and you can learn a lot, which you will contribute to when you become a more responsible member of the workforce.
What are the changes do you hope to see in governance structure in areas like agriculture?
Agriculture actually has seen a lot of changes in the recent past and all for the better. However, there is still state governments need to put greater priority on agriculture and the newer technologies that can be used in agriculture. Even say, for example, micro irrigation that I was talking about, or protected cultivation that I was talking about, they all need funding, right? And state governments typically run on deficit budgets. So, to be able to ensure that there is greater emphasis on water conservation and water use efficiency, state governments will need to put more money into these initiatives. More funding is required. Now, that can be done two, three ways. So, raise your own revenue so you have greater expendable, funds available from your kitty. Or there is, of course, the support that comes from Government of India. But then there are also externally aided projects. But I would look at community participation and civil society participation to give a further boost to these innovative concepts.
The Parampur University has organized 3 days international conference and you are a part of that. So what are the takeaways from you?
It's been a huge learning experience even for me, and I'm sure the student community must have benefited so much from it. People have thrown light on various aspects of climate change, whether it is in terms of warning systems. How do you see that climate change is happening? If the cyclone is happening, with what ferocity, with what accuracy can you predict its landfall, and how you can prepare communities? That's one aspect. Then people have talked about AI. AI is a very big game changer at the moment. Yet, how much impact AI is having itself on climate change? The increased use of metals and water in creating those, supercomputer kind of things which will drive AI programs. I mean, that's something which has to be very, very, that path has to be trodden with great care. So while we are looking for solutions to climate change, the solution itself should not be contributing to worsening of the climate conditions. So I think these are some of the very good, and funding, of course, how each segment of climate change which is affected, whether it is the farming community or it's the businesses or it's the coastal communities, every segment has been covered in the international conference, and I feel very happy for the students. They must have gained so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this wonderful and insightful discussion with us. And thank you for sparing.
Thank you very much for having. Thank you for having me here. Thank you.